will not be holding my tongue about anything. I had to do that as a child. I will not do that as an adult. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of A Black Girl's Odyssey. I am your hostess, Breeze, and today I'm going to be speaking about the reasons why I would never ever want to be a child again. But first things first, I need you to hit that like and subscribe button. I also need you to chime my notification bell so you'll be aware of any videos I upload about my adventures in traveling. So the last video that I made for you all, I was speaking about the fact of how I will always probably remain child free, or most likely remain child free. And as soon as I finished that video, I started reminiscing about my own childhood. And as I was reminiscing, the thoughts immediately came, and I had to get my pad and pencil and write down the reasons why I myself would never want to be a child again. So without any much further hesitation, I'm going to go ahead and start getting into it. And we're going to start with our fifth reason, or my fifth reason, is I don't want to go through the growing pains or awkwardness of being a child again. When I was growing up, I always was afraid of saying or doing the wrong thing. I mean, I didn't want to say or do things that make me look strange or feel funny or make anybody else feel out of pocket. I always felt weird. It was that, and it was also some people had really deemed me to be unladylike and also aggressive. I didn't like any of those terms, but here it is, that's what they said. And I just hated feeling so awkward. Seemed like I never said the right thing. I never wore the right clothes. I never looked the right way. And I just hated the feeling that it made me feel. I felt so isolated and I felt so out of place. I just did not like the feeling of being awkward. Now, and as an adult, I'm happy that I get to select who I want to be around and who I don't want to be around. Because here's the thing that people don't really understand is that it takes time to grow into oneself. They think that you're born and you're automatically born an adult. That is not the case. Now, with that being said, I always believed that I was mature for my age, but at the same time, I just felt like I just never belonged, like I never fit in. And I just hated that from school to church and every place else in between. I felt very weird and very different. And I'm glad that I am like that. It has made me a better person. It has made me a better woman. And I wouldn't want to change again ever for anyone. I remember when I was like a preteen, I wanted to learn how to speak another language, and people will ridicule me and make fun of me for wanting to practice a language that is not my own. But guess what? Now, as an adult, when they want to know what someone's saying in certain languages, they come over there and they ask me, "Oh, Breeze, what are they saying? Why are you asking me now? You weren't asking me that 10, 15, 20 years ago. You thought I was weird." So, I mean, I'm grateful now that those days are behind me and I feel more positive and optimistic about my future. I never want to experience that again. I hated it. Now, like I said, I get to pick and choose who I want to be around and who I don't want to be around. And a lot of those people that made me feel out of place are people that I don't have to deal with anymore. Also, I live in a different state other than my home state, and now I don't have to worry about trying to hide from my past or run away from my past anymore. I don't have to worry about someone bringing something up that I did when I was young. I don't have to worry about that anymore. My past is my past, and it's a done deal now, and I'm not letting people take my past and use it against me anymore. I just rather stay away from those people. And I feel very content with myself. And so now, going forward, my advice to any young person or young woman that's coming into herself, I know you may be deemed as strange or weird, but just hold on. You are going to find your self worth and you're going to become the woman that you're supposed to be. Regardless of what people are saying to you now, You do not let people dictate who you're going to be in the future, even who you are currently. You will come into yourself. So that's my advice to any young person who's an adolescent, preteen, or a teenager, because those are very awkward phrases. I was very awkward from the age of probably 12 until I pretty much graduated high school, and I'm glad those days are over. So I would never have to worry about those days again. If I go somewhere and I feel out of place, I will remove myself from that place very quickly, because I'm not going to be a person that's going to be the odd one out. I don't like that. So that's the fifth reason why I would never want to be a child again. It's because I don't like the growing pains and the awkward phases of growing up. The fourth reason why I would never want to be a child again is because as a child, I was never allowed to have an independent thought. I grew up in a family full of women. Of course, you know, women always rearing the children. And the women in my family were very authoritative. They felt like a child was to be seen and not heard. They would never allow me to express myself, and I couldn't stand it. My mother, on the other hand, she was a little bit lenient. She would try to let me think for myself. She would encourage me to express myself. But even with that, I had to tread lightly because I didn't want to say certain things to make her flip or make her crash out. So I decided that, I'm just going to just wait this out. I know one day, because that's one thing I definitely knew as a child, that one day I was going to grow up. And when I grew up, I was going to make the rules myself. And so I love now being a woman, having my own independent thoughts, being able to be very opinionated. If anyone who knows me know I'm very opinionated. I'm not going to bite my tongue to make you feel comfortable. I don't care if you get offended, because most likely when I speak truth, and that does offend a lot of people. The truth would not be the truth if it didn't offend. And so therefore I will not be holding my tongue about anything. I had to do that as a child. I will not do that as an adult. Um, One of the craziest rules that I remember growing up with was that you had to ask permission to get something to drink. I didn't like that. You had to ask permission to go in the refrigerator. You couldn't just go in the refrigerator and get yourself something to drink. And I thought that was one of the stupidest and weirdest rules ever, because I know that I'm thirsty. I want something to drink. Why can I not go in the refrigerator and get something to drink? Now, this rule is understood if you're going to someone else's house as a guest. I understand that completely. But in my own home, or an occupant of a home that I feel like I should be able to go into the refrigerator freely, like a grandparent home or something like that, or a relative home, I think that is really weird. Um, I mean, I guess you're supposed to ask, but to me, that's stupid, and I don't like that. Um, we're family. Are we supposed to be family? I should be able to go get something to drink when I want something to drink, but whatever. And some people till this day would disagree with me saying that, but whatever is whatever, because now I have my own refrigerator stocked, and I can go in the refrigerator and get what I want when I want, however I want it, and I don't have to ask anyone's permission. If I don't have it in my refrigerator, I can go to the store and go get it myself. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. Um, I'm just glad now that I'm an adult. I did not like the fact that I was not allowed to express myself. Again, children were supposed to be seen and not heard. And as an adult now, I respect the way how they thought, but that don't fly with me today. And so I'm grateful now that I don't have to deal with that foolishness anymore. I am allowed to say what I got to say, however I want to say it. And I guess I'm just assuming, I don't know for sure. I'm guessing that the women that who raised me meant well, but they don't understand that they also stifle your growth when they don't allow you to ask questions and to be curious about things. You don't need to know about that. No, you're dumb for saying that. Yeah, and then someone else gets a hold of this child and they're teaching them what they want them to be taught, and now that's a problem. So that independent, not having the independent thought thing, to never fly with me. It didn't fly with me then, and don't fly with me now. And I am just glad that I don't have to deal with that anymore. So that's the fourth reason why I would never want to be a child again, because you were not encouraged to have an independent thought. The third reason why I would never want to be a child again is because you have to be dependent upon your parents. If you needed school clothes, you had to go to your parents. If you needed money, you had to go to your parents. You had to go to your parents for just about everything. If you're hungry, whatever the case may be. I didn't like that. In my opinion, I feel like I didn't really have really responsible parents. So I don't want to have to ever depend on them for anything ever again in this life. Um, Being dependent upon someone to make choices for you or whatever, it's just, oh my God, it's just a hot mess to ever have to go through that again. I don't ever want to go through being dependent upon a parent or adult or anybody again. That's not living. That's being controlled. Um, I know children are children for a reason, and I thank God that it's such a brief moment in time. You are more of an adult than you are a child, and I am so grateful that that part is behind me. You listen. I don't care how many bills come through my house. I don't care how much I have to work. I would never ever want to go through that again. I just would not want to be having to be dependent upon my parents. I just wouldn't want that. It's just something that I just wish I just wouldn't want it again. To being dependent upon any adult. Um, Always have to ask for permission to do things. One of the things that I recalled as a child that I did not like is lima beans. When I was a child, I did not like lima beans. As an adult, I still don't like lima beans. But I was taught that you have to eat. Like, if you didn't eat what was put in front of you, I guess you had the option to starve, but now you're wasting food. Well, I don't like lima beans. I tell you I don't like this, but you don't care because you cooked it and I'm supposed to eat it. I'm supposed to like it and eat it and be grateful for it. And I'm like, this is crazy. I don't even like the taste of lima beans. I don't like the smell is not too bad, but the look of it and the taste of it, I can't stand. Till this day, I do not buy beans in my house of any kind. You will not see me buy beans. I don't like beans. I will not eat them. But as a child, a lot of people thought that if you did not eat what was fit in front of you, you were probably either sickly or you got something seriously going on, and you should be grateful to have what's in front of you. And that was not always the case. I just didn't like what was put in front of me. And because of that, I have like some type of resentment about it. Maybe that's probably why I don't like beans, because I was forced to eat them when I was little. I guess they felt like it made it stretch. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I just don't like beans till this day. I won't eat them. Um, yeah, and I actually gave myself a choice as a child because we, being from the South, we eat a lot of rice. And I would do something where I would use ketchup and I would spread it on my rice and mix it up and eat my rice like that. And I would just eat the meat because I just did not like the side that was on it, which was lima beans. And so I gave myself a choice when I wasn't allowed to have a choice. So again, like I said, I don't ever want to be dependent upon anybody ever again. If I have to be, life is not worth living. So that is my third reason of not wanting to be a child again. I don't want to be dependent upon my parents or any other adult for that fact. My second reason for never wanting to be a child again is, which this should have probably been the first reason, but I'm going to deem it as the second one, and that is not being able to make money. I knew since I was 9 years old. You heard it right. 9 years old, I knew that I wanted to work. If I could have had a job legally when I was 9 years old and make my own money, I would have. My mother was a single mother, and my father did not help her out with me at all. And my mother had little money coming into her household. And I was like, oh my God, why can't I just go to work? I mean, I would have loved to make my own money. I wish I had someone who would have let me work and make my own money and taught me how to manage my money. But as a child, they say you got to do what parents tell you to do or what have you. Imagine if I could have made my own money and I could have saved my own money, how far along I would have been today if I was able to do those things. If I had my own Roth IRA, or if I had my own high yield savings account, imagine how I would have been if I was working since I was 9. I'm 43 years old now, and imagine that. So I just didn't like the fact of having to go to my mother for money, and sometimes we like never had it. Like I wanted to buy my own clothes and get my hair done, and I just couldn't do those things because there was just not a whole lot of money. But now, today, as a working woman with two jobs, I can go ahead and buy my clothes whenever I want. I can get my hair done whenever I want. As a matter of fact, I just got this due today. I'm just trying something out new because I was tired of the same old, same old. I was able to go in my wallet and pay the money to get my hair fixed. That was just a blessed feeling. I just loved it so much. I didn't have to ask nobody for anything. Oh my God. I don't know how people deal with marriages, having to ask their husband for money. I just can't stand it. I just love making my own money and taking care of myself. And I recalled growing up, they were like, oh, you want to be grown, you want to go out there and pay bills. Bills are serious, bills are real. Um, you have all these bunch of expenses. Listen, I wouldn't change trade in adulthood again to be a child, no matter what you give me, because I love going to work and making my own money. Now, and I'm not going to tell you I like working every day, but I do love going to work and making my own money and be able to buy what I need whenever I need it. That is just a wonderful, wonderful feeling. I'm glad that we're not in the era where we have to ask our husbands for money and he deciding what you need it for. Oh, just talking about it angers my blood. I just can't. So I'm just happy that I don't have to ask anybody about for anything anymore, and not be able to make my own money at a child was very hurt. I actually went to work early because of this. I went to work at 15 because I wanted to make my own money. I remember being in high school and the girls were working at McDonald's, and I was like, well, how old you have to be to work at McDonald's? And they said, oh, you have to be 15. Oh my God, when they told me that and I was 15, I went and I got me a job working at McDonald's, making my own little bit of change. There's nothing better than that. So if you are a young lady coming into your own, always make sure that you have a way to make your own money legally, of course. You don't have to work Monday through Friday. You don't have to work 7 days a week. You don't have to work when you don't want to work. Just work enough to be able to make enough money to be able to have something stashed for yourself. That is a blessed feeling. And I would encourage every young woman to do that. My mother did not want me to work. I wasn't listening to her. I was going to work anyway because I like making my own money, because I remembered and I understood how life was when I did not have the option to work. And so now I'm grateful for that. I don't take that for granted. So that is my second reason of not wanting to be a child again, is not being able to make money. Okay, so here's my final thought, my final reason of why I would not ever want to be a child again. And that reason is you always having someone telling you what to do or forcing you to do something that you don't want to do. Again, I'm from the South. You're supposed to listen to your elders. Even if that person is 1 day older than you, that person is considered your elders and you have to listen to them. So for me, it started with the elders. It started after that with your parents. And after your parents, it's any cousins, aunts, brothers, sisters, whatever. And I just hated that. Look how many people I have to go through before I could decide something on my own. There were many things I did not want to do, and I was forced to do them because I had to listen to my elders. Another stupid rule. I have respect for elders, always have, always will, but when you tell me about my life, it ain't happening. I'm always a person, and I know this may sound weird. Let me make my own mistake. I remember Whitney Houston song, The Greatest Love of All. She had a quote in that song, and I'm quoting it. I don't think I'm doing it word for word, but she said something about if I failed, if I succeed, at least I did as I believe. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I do not like nobody telling me what to do until this day. There it will be some real bad repercussions if you try to force me to do some stuff that I don't want to do. I just don't like it, because I understand more now than ever before that I have a choice. If I want to do something, I can do it. If I don't want to do something, I just don't do it. There's consequences to everything. And let me decide, not you tell me what to do. And growing up, I always had somebody telling me what to do. I hated that. You cannot get me to listen to people. Now, I'm surprised that I wasn't more rebellious than what I was, because I cannot stand somebody telling me what to do. I just can't stand it. And sometimes I reflect on my past and on my childhood. I'd be like, how did I survive? I was like, I always had somebody telling me what to do. I can't even think about like what time you should come home in the house and stuff. I'm like, are you, if I want to come home, if I don't want to come home, that's my choice. I mean, I'm 18 years old, I'm 17 years old, but I don't want to come home at 10 o'clock in the night. I mean, I just did not like rules. I wasn't really rebellious. I just didn't like nobody telling me what to do. It was just something I just didn't like. I still don't like it till this day. And my grandma used to always say, "Well, you're gonna always have somebody tell you what to do." Yeah, I guess that is, but I either can choose to do it or choose not to do it. Don't tell me what to do. I don't like that. Um, I don't like someone trying to force something on me. I don't like salesmen because of this. I mean, I'll get aggressive with salesmen. So I guess the people who deem me as aggressive back in the day probably is right, because if you try to pressure me to buy something and I already told you no, not going to be good. It's going to be really bad, because I don't like nobody forcing me or pressuring me to do something that I don't want to do. And I have to be honest, as I'm doing this video, I can feel the rage building up in me, because these are reasons why I would never ever want to be a child again. And I just remember and recalled. It don't feel even that long ago. I mean, it's been what, I don't know, 30 something years now since I was a child, or maybe pretty much longer. I'm 43 now, whatever that is. Y'all can do the math. And that still burns me to this day, having people tell me what to do. You would think I would let it go, but don't tell me what to do. I don't like it. I never really cared for church because of that too, because I didn't like nobody telling me what to do. I understand, and I understand the reasoning behind this. It was supposed to impose discipline, guidance, responsibility, but don't tell me what to do. I don't like it. Please. Now, with that being said, I don't mean that I won't listen to advice, but I weigh people's advice, because everybody's advice is not one size fits all. But I do listen and I take out what I need and I leave the rest behind. But when you come to trying to tell me how to live my life, that is absolutely not going to work. I ain't trying to hear you. I'm just not. If something bad happens, God forbid, from it, then that's going to have to be a lesson learned, because I am not about to let you tell me how to run this life here. I only get one. That's what they tell me. So I'm going to do it as I want to do it. If I want to go for a midnight drive and drive until the sun come up, that's my business. I don't need you to tell me, why are you out there this time of night? That's none of your business. I can do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. That's just how I feel. I want to be free. This is why I don't have any children. I want to be free. I want to be like a bird that spreads its wings. A bird does not need permission for someone to tell it to fly. That's me. So again, number one reason why I would never want to be a child, because I was always forced to do something that I didn't want to do, and someone was always telling me what to do. And I just did not like it. I didn't like it. So those are the 5 reasons why I would never want to be a child again. They say childhood's supposed to be the happiest time of your life. And don't get me wrong, looking back now, I would rather be a child in the 80s than ever be a child in 2025. I had a good childhood. We used to play with toys. We used to ride our bikes outside. We could play outside until the street light comes on. I miss those days, don't get me wrong. But again, I would never want to rehash that or relive that ever again. I would have preferred to be born at 15 years old with everything I needed to know as a 15-year-old, and then I could grow that, even if that means having a shorter life. Because I'm telling you, I didn't like any of these things I was saying. So let's go ahead and re-summarize why the 5 reasons I wouldn't want to be a child again. The growing pains and awkward phases that I was going to, not allowed to have an independent thought at all. Being dependent upon parents. No, no. Not able to make your own money. I hated that too. And I also did not like the fact of having people tell me what to do and force me to do things that I want to do, that I did not want to do. So those are my 5 reasons of why I would never want to be a child again. I'm interested in hearing if you would want to be a child again. I want you to leave a comment in the comment section. I want to hear your opinions and your thoughts on this. If you did have a good childhood and you didn't mind, by all means, tell me that too. But personally, I would never ever want to be a child again. So again, before I wrap up this video, I need you to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I also need you to chime my notification bell and share this video with anyone who you think may be interested in knowing why I would not like to be a child again. Until next time, may God bless, thank you, and take care.